Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really getting into something fundamental, respect.
Hmm.
Specifically, this idea that maybe we think we just deserve it from others,
Yeah.
but, what if that's not the whole picture?
Right. What if the source, and maybe even the solution, is actually much closer inside us?
Exactly. We've looked at some sources that honestly turn that idea on its head a bit, some surprising insights.
Definitely.
Okay, so let's unpack this. This feeling of maybe deserving better, but asking, where does respect really begin?
It's a great question because, we hear a lot about self-esteem, self-love as fixes if you feel undervalued.
Yeah, those are common themes.
But these sources, that they suggest it might go deeper. They talk about a kind of mirrored message, like our own behavior reflecting something back.
A mirrored message.
Yeah, an echo from our past, sort of shaping our interactions right now. This deep dive, I think, will really uncover some profound patterns there.
That concept, the mirrored message, that really sticks. So the sources are saying, okay, look at yourself first.
Pretty much. They challenge you, You say, I deserve respect. Okay, fair enough.
Right.
But then they ask you to, pause and really check your tone, your body language, the actual words you use. Are you always being respectful?
Yeah, that can be an uncomfortable place to start.
It can be, but maybe a crucial one. And it's not random. That's the other thing. These patterns, the sources say, they often come from our very first relationships.
You mean like with our parents?
Exactly. We might unconsciously learn that, well, it's their job to care for us. It's just expected.
Yeah.
And that can lead to, maybe losing a bit of gratitude or even subtly belittling what they do because, well, it's just their job.
I can see how that might happen.
Then fast forward and we replicate that attitude with partners, maybe colleagues, sometimes even our own kids,
Yeah.
Snapping because something wasn't done right. That could be an echo.
Wow. So our behavior is like a mirror reflecting these older patterns. How does that internal structure, that architecture of respect, as you called it, get built initially?
Well, the sources use this really interesting metaphor. Imagine a strong alloy.
Okay, like metal.
Yeah, two metals fused together with heat. They form this crystalline structure, right? Much stronger together. Now, think of your parents' relationship, their bond, their fusion, as forming your own inner crystal matrix.
Oh, okay. That's a powerful image. My inner crystal matrix formed by their fusion.
It really makes you think, doesn't
Yeah.
it? And connecting that to now, the sources argue our basic stance towards all our adult relationships often mirrors how we relate back to that initial parental relationship.
So it's not just about them, but about our relationship to their relationship.
Precisely, and to what the sources call that unseen network that shaped us before birth. The whole emotional environment, the dynamics that laid the groundwork, that's the scaffold.
That sounds incredibly deep-rooted then. If this matrix is our blueprint, I mean, how do you even start to change it? It feels kind of huge.
It does feel huge, but the sources actually offer some pretty practical steps. Building respect, they say, starts from our roots.
Okay, practical's good. What are they?
It really begins with internal work. First step, genuinely reflect. Think back to those earliest relationships. How did you see your parents treat each other? How did they treat you?
Right.
What tones were normal? What expectations? What was the general sort of energy?
It's becoming aware of it.
Exactly. Step 2 is about finding gratitude for the structure itself, the one that made you, acknowledging your existence as the fruit of their fusion.
Even if it was difficult.
Yes, even then. It's about acknowledging the source, the struggles that shaped it, not necessarily saying everything was perfect, just recognizing where you came from.
Okay, got it.
Then step 3, this is where you build respect from the inside out, holding some compassion for that inherited foundation, for that history. It naturally starts to soften your own tone. It warms your presence.
So it changes how you are internally.
Exactly. And then fourth, you just watch the ripples. When you cultivate respect for your roots, you tend to treat others more gently. It becomes this feedback loop.
And maybe you notice disrespect more easily, too, in yourself or from others.
That's it. It becomes clearer, more visible, and then it's easier to consciously choose a different way.
This really sounds like a path to genuine change. And the sources, they mentioned a specific method for this, something called the puzzle method.
They did, yeah. Our holistic method puzzle, comprehensive holistic solutions for human life, developed by Andre and Amy Coben.
Right.
And the core idea is quite powerful. Your conflict with an adult comes from an unconscious echo of a younger one. Learn to deconstruct it.
You deconstruct the echo. I like that.
And this puzzle method, it seems to break down the transformation into 3 stages.
Okay, what are those?
First is that root level inner work we talked about, cultivating respect for your lineage, understanding that foundation, like maybe identifying a trigger now and seeing how it connects back to an old feeling or interaction.
Recognizing the pattern.
Precisely. Then stage 2 is relationship recomposition. That's about actively softening those automatic habitual reactions in your current life, building more empathy.
So changing how you respond day to day.
Right. And the third stage is transforming your environment, actively creating interactions with family, colleagues, yourself that are genuinely respectful, consciously rewriting those echoes.
It sounds comprehensive.
Right.
So let's bring it back to the listener. Why should you invest the time and energy in this kind of really deep dive? What are the real world benefits?
Well, the sources suggest the payoff is pretty profound. For one, you might find you stop chasing external validation so much.
Because the validation comes from within.
Exactly. Your self-worth gets rooted internally. Also, your communication tends to become more respectful naturally, even when things get stressful.
That alone sounds worthwhile.
Absolutely. And think about the impact on the next generation. You start modeling empathy and respect, breaking those old unconscious cycles.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's about reclaiming your self-worth, not by demanding it, shouting for it, but by living it from the inside out.
That makes sense.
And the sources even mention how this applies professionally, like in their puzzle business and career module.
Yeah.
Fostering real respect and leadership, balancing home life, it connects everywhere.
So it's not just personal relationships.
Not at all. It's about how you show up everywhere, including how you respect yourself.
It's truly powerful to think that our interactions today, right now, are reflections of these really early, deeply embedded systems. It changes how you view, well, everything.
It really does. And perhaps the most provocative thought from the sources to leave people with is this.
Yeah.
If you want to change how you are treated, start by changing how you treat.
Wow. Okay. Simple, but profound. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive today. We really hope you'll take some time, reflect on these ideas, and see how they might resonate in your own life, your own relationships.